Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria, and today guys, as evidenced by ka-chunk, these handy dandy note cards, it is time for another tag, and what a special tag we have for you today. Today is the What Up Nerds, the Nerdy Narrative tag. Now this is an original tag created by Una and Crypto over at the Codex Cantina in celebration of Leslie over at the Nerdy Narrative's birthday, which was earlier this month. Now if you do not know Leslie, if you are not already following Leslie or sub to Leslie, you absolutely need to. Leslie is, she is one of the friendliest people on BookTube. She is so nice and so wonderful and is just such an excellent friend. And she is just so welcoming and just so supportive of everybody here on the platform that it's wonderful that that Codex Cantina created the tag. I'll link their original tag down below. And so the tag questions of this are going to be related to the things that she talks about in her channel and her opening. She's like, "What up, nerds? I'm Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative, and I read all things in the fantasy, science fiction, horror, manga, comic, classic genres, and nonfiction genres." Add that in there as well. Or as Trebek says, genre. Why would you pronounce it like that, Trebek? Anyway, so without wasting any more time, let's get down to business. Let us get started on the Nerdy Narrative book tag. So, question number one, science fiction. What is a futuristic or imaginative element in a book that you're glad is not real? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff in the books that, you know, would be neat if it was real. I guess I'm glad that, like, the colored caste system from Red Rising is not real, because, I mean, look at me. I'm not tall or like super physically fit or any of those, you know, other things. So I would definitely not be a gold. So I don't know what I'd be. I'd hope I wouldn't end up in the mines, because, you know, I also am not super great at, you know, hard physical labor mining whatever gas they're mining down there. So yeah, so that's it. The weird caste system, gold all the way, too many colors, like, I don't know. Crayola society. That's not my. I'm glad that's not real, because the golds would be mean to me and I would have to stage a revolution. Oh, am I Darrow? Question mark. Boosh. All right. Horror. What has been the scariest moment for you while reading a book? Okay, so it was really scary. Like, if you read it, really scary, especially since I read it pretty young. But the scariest moment for the book, I remember this distinctly. So I used to leave my house to read because, like, back when I was I guess late high school, early college, in my first year of college, I lived with my parents, and you know, what a drag, right? So anyway, I would get my car and I would go down to the marina, because there's a marina like right near where I lived, and I would just park my car there and just read. I was reading this Dean Koontz novel, and I forget what it's called, but it's about a guy who's like allergic to sunlight, so the whole thing has to take place like at night, and there's these like bioengineered like evil chimpanzees. And I know it sounds really stupid, but Koontz wrote it so suspensefully. It was really, really scary sitting at the marina in the dark reading this book while, like, you know, like you don't really see the monsters like all the time. It's all very like atmospheric, and it was I remember it to this day. Like, I still remember it. You know, Dean Koontz novels are, I mean, they're fine, you know, but I remember those books to this day. I don't remember what they're called. I could. Night Eyes, maybe? I could find it if I looked it up. The cover's blue. And there's a second one too that I don't think I read. Maybe I did. Anyway, I remember that distinctly because of how scared I was in that marina. Like, because, you know, I think part of it took place near water, and I don't know. Like, I was always afraid of them flying out of the sky. I don't know. It was spooky. Boosh. Number 3, fantasy. What would you import from a fantasy world into your own world? I mean, obviously, magic. Like, who doesn't want the ability to use magic? But if we want to be more specific, I would probably import the greatcoats into our society, because Falkio et al. And, you know, the restored greatcoats would definitely right some wrongs that our country faces today. And the greatcoats can't be stopped. So, because, you know, here comes the cavalry. Always. So that is my answer for that. I would import the greatcoats and also some magic. What kind of magic? Like, the Kaigen magic is really cool. No, I would also import the greatcoats, and I would import allomancy. So that's what I would do, and I would just like go around like rioting people's emotions, like go, let us revolt into revolution. Boosh. Number 5, I think this is 4. I don't know. Comic or manga? What's a comic you enjoyed or wanted to check out? Comic, I grew up with Spider-Man comics. I loved Spider-Man so much. I'm actually going to talk about this in a different video with like things that kind of formed my opinions, things that really influenced me as a kid. And Spider-Man comics. And I liked Spider-Man so much, and I also liked puns a lot. So I drew my own comics that was Spider-Man, but he was a spider instead of a man. And he fought villains like Mysterio was his stereo, and he was a snake with a bubble on his head. And it was all very dumb, but I had so much fun doing it. But I love Spider-Man because he was a kid like me, and he didn't take things too seriously, and also he wasn't superpowered. Like, I hated Superman because of how, like, oh, he's so many, like, Superman's boring. Like, you can't even beat Superman. But I loved the fact that Spider-Man, I mean, he did have super strength and spidey sense and the ability to climb walls, but I liked that he had to get out of situations on his own. Like, his web machines, his web his things were, I mean, they were constructs. So my favorite parts were always when he ran out of web and has to like dodge what Hobgoblin, you know, his pumpkins and stuff, in order to replace the web cartridge. And so I really liked that about Spider-Man. I also liked that he was funny. And so, you know, when they made Spider-Man not be these things, it was so irritating for me. So Spider-Man definitely. And as far as like since then, it's One Piece. And I don't read the manga, but I watch the anime, and so it means it's close enough. But One Piece has vastly influenced things that I like, just from the kind of humor to pirates and things on the ocean and stuff. So those are your answers for that. Boosh. Number 5, literary fiction and classics. What's a classic book you've been wanting to get to but haven't yet? So I don't really love classics. I've been wanting to reread my Lovecraft collection down there, which, I mean, it's classic in the fact that it's old, you know, because I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft, despite him being an enormous xenophobic, racist, bigoted douchebag. I think what he did for the horror genre is just like incredible, like just kind of reinvented it, created this very atmospheric kind of thing. In fact, I've probably been scared a lot reading Lovecraft as well, to amend my horror answer earlier there. And also like My Cousin Rachel, because I really liked Rebecca. When I read that by Daphne du Maurier, which is a classic that felt classic, but without like the clunkiness of reading it. It just read really quickly, which I really liked. So I want to get to My Cousin Rachel. I want to read more Lovecraft. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan of the classics. It's not really something that I'm dying to go read. I like Nathaniel Hawthorne, so I like the stuff that he writes. If I have to, you know, choose classics to read, and Austen's okay too. So Jane Austen's all right. So I'd read some of that. My wife likes Jane Austen more than I do, but she's okay too. So boosh. Number 6, The Busy Bee. What's a book you'd like to share with all your friends? Guys, for real, The Long Price Quartet. Now, it is not for everybody. Like, it's not for everybody. I get it. But it's so good. Like, what Daniel Abraham does over these 4 books. These 4 books follow these two kids who are 16 and 20, respectively, in the first book. It follows them over 48 years of the next 48 years of their life. So they're both in their 60s by the end of the series. And what he does and what it says about family and parenting and children and friendship and love and just relationships and just the price of doing the right thing is... It's unlike anything I've ever read. Like, it just is. And I know, like, I mean, Goodreads does not do it justice. It just doesn't. There's a bunch of people who read the first one, thought it was boring because there's not a single action scene in the whole book. Sorry. But if you read that first book, Shadow and Summer, and you are like, you know what? Like, I like where this is going. Like, it's not my favorite. I didn't love it, but I like what it's trying to do here. That means you'll like the series. I promise. Keep reading it. Like I really liked the first book. I really liked the second book. But then books 3 and 4, they just changed the game. Like, the way that books 3 and 4 elevate books 1 and 2 is nothing short of incredible. Daniel Abraham has created a masterpiece, and it's definitely one of my new favorite series. Not enough people are reading it. Good gracious, please check out Long Price Quartet. It is very different than your standard fantasy fare. Douche. Number 7, influencer. If you could have influenced an author to make a different decision in a book, what would it have been? I got you. I got you. I love Sebastian de Castell so much. But for everyone's good, I would have said, please don't put Athalia in Traitor's Blade. Like I understand what's trying to be done, and I understand that some of it is explained afterwards, but there's a single chapter. There's a single chapter in Traitor's Blade toward the end that I don't know anyone who's read the book that likes it. Like, no, I don't know a single person who's like, you know what, I like that chapter. Just take it out. Just remove it. Like, she can come in book 2 in a much more normal way, maybe, or even if she has to be in the book, not that way. Don't put her in the book doing that. Instead, just have her be normal. Everyone who's read Traitor's Blade knows what I'm talking about. I'm certain you agree with me if you've read Traitor's Blade. Just change that part, and then fewer people would DNF it and go or not continue in the series, because it makes me so sad, because the rest of the series is just so good. The first one has some, you know, it has some foibles and some quirks, like the Athalia scene, and you know, there's a lot of here comes the cavalry moments that are explained later in the later books. So I encourage you to continue if you absolutely didn't despise Greatcoats, but remove the Athalia scene. Boosh. Number 8, the birthday wish. What book do you want for your birthday? It is my birthday on Thursday, the 18th of March. And I've already gotten a bunch of books. Thank you so much to all of you who have sent me books. Oh my gosh, you guys are so freaking nice. Like, it's amazing. Like, I have more books than I know what to do with, and I'm just excited to read every single one of them. Thank you guys so much. I love it when you guys send me books that are on my list, or books that you think I'll like. Like, it's just incredible. Thank you guys so much. But the book I'm most looking forward to, that I hope my wife is actually getting for me. I don't know if she is, but I hope my wife is getting for me, is the illustrated Guards that just recently came out, the like purple one, which is the hardcover like signed one. I don't go in for fancy books really a lot, but I have decided that I'm going to get some nice Discworld stuff, since Discworld is kind of like my jam. I would love to have the Subterranean Press Senlin books, but they're sold out, and guess what, guys? I'm not paying $1,000 for a book. I'm just not. Like, I'm not. I teach public school. I'm not a freaking railroad baron, you know? So what am I supposed to do? But this Guards illustrated book, it's so gorgeous, and Guards is really one of the most influential books that I've read that's on my reading tastes and things I find funny. Guards is just amazing for me. So I'm hoping that I get that. If not, you'll never hear of it again, because I don't want to make my wife sad. But that's what I hope. I think my wife is getting it for me. That's what I really hope that I am getting. Boosh. Number 9, the invite. Who are you inviting to your BookTube party? Tag some friends to share cake with. So, there's a bunch of people who've done this, so I'm going to tag, who am I going to tag? I'm going to tag Abby if she hasn't done it yet. She might have already done it. I'm going to tag Evie. I'm going to tag Philip over at Philip Chase. And I'm going to tag Klaus, because I would love to see Klaus's answers for this, because Klaus hates every book that I like, except Long Price Quartet, and that should tell you something. But Klaus hates your books too. He hates the books you like also, but I love Klaus. He's the best. So anyway, guys, that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you guys so much for caring. Thank you for all the books that you've sent me. You guys are wonderful. I hope you enjoyed the live stream, which was, who knows? It's my first live stream I've done. It was super fun. If not, you can catch the replay right there. I hope I'm pointing at an actual card or something. You can catch the replay. As always, guys, information about my Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys.